weather's a lot cooler morning and evening, is it?
Yesterday and today it's cloudy and getting chilly. Yeah, not chilly, but the cooler.
Yeah, here too. I'm not very organized, so I had put all my warmer clothes to the side. I was gonna put them away, and then now it's actually I need them. So I was like, oh, maybe I don't. All summer they've just been in a corner, right?
Yeah, it's since the COVID-19, it's
Right.
it's difficult to feel the season is changing.
It
So
is. It is. Okay, I think we can start now. Would you like to start just briefly introducing yourselves?
yeah, thank you. So good morning again, and I'm Satoko Ekberg, and
I'm Peo Ekberg.
and we are running a company called OnePlanetCafe, and OnePlanetCafe is providing our slogan is the make sustainability reality. So we are providing lectures and workshop, and also the study tours to Sweden and the Zambia in Africa to experience sustainability. And also we have a factory in Zambia, and they're making banana paper.
The green factory.
Green factory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Collaborating with the Japanese companies and the Japanese washi, Japanese traditional paper factory too.
That's wonderful. Let's go through your bio a little bit. So on your bio, Satoko, it says you were working with some government agencies and companies on their sustainability, and then you decided to start One Planet Cafe. Is that right?
Yes, right. So I have been a consultant to mainly the quite big companies like Kao, Ajinomoto, and Nissan, and so on. And also I have been working with the environmental ministry, and I'm making some course for environmental study. And also I have been working with the Tohoku University in Sendai, and we built up the curriculum for business people to learn sustainability, and we invited more than 70 people, experts, as a lecturer. So it was very exciting course. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been going on from 2005 to 2015, so 10 years.
Wonderful. And because you've worked in government with policy making, because you've worked with big companies, have you seen progress in Japan as well as around the world, or what's your take on that?
So as a profession, I have been in this field more than 20 years now, and I am seeing a lot of change. And because at the beginning, I just visit a company, and explain why we need the environmental, learning or study, and so on for business. And it's so difficult for them to understand, because the environmental study or environmental course is only for children at that time.
They thought, at least, yeah.
Yeah. But now everyone knows we need to learn about sustainability and the environment and so on. So totally different world, and we are very excited. And but at the same time, the situation in the world and in Japan too is getting worse, unfortunately. So we have to hurry up, and we have to.
Especially when it comes to climate change, for example. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so interesting. And you've got such a wealth of knowledge and experience. So it's so nice to hear you say you do see progress, because to me, it seems frustrating when you compare to other countries, and other countries seem to be advancing so fast. And then what's happening in Japan? Why isn't anything happening? But actually, last year I went to California, and in my mind, California is so advanced, right? And actually on the ground, in the shops, on the street, it wasn't so different. And
Mhm.
so I felt like, oh, maybe it's not too bad then. Yeah. So what you guys are doing, international collaboration, of course, is very important, because looking outside Japan as well as inside Japan is really important to have some kind of understanding of where Japan is, right?
Sure.
Comparisons, because there's a saying in Japanese, ino naka no kawazu, taikai o shirazu, which means the frog in the well doesn't see the ocean. So usually we are, wherever we are, we don't feel it's progressing in that particular area or country. So that is a human thing, I think. But it is progressing forward little by little. And there's a lot of good examples, a lot of successful examples, both in the corporate world and among NGOs, of course, among governments. There's a lot of things happening. And that is the hope. We call it our business for hope and sustainability, because we have to give hope. We have to be positive and optimistic, and that is what we try to do. So we are not a negative, negative campaigning company, but we are doing it positively. And we were green from the beginning, so we are not a company who tried to be green. We were green from the beginning, and I worked for environmental organizations, for example, and that try to become a business instead. So we are doing the opposite.
Yeah. No, it's so important. I think it's so easy to just complain or just to talk about the negative thing, but it's really hard to find a practical way to move forward with sustainability. And I think we'll talk about many examples that you guys are doing to do that. And so I really appreciate the wonderful work you guys are doing. Let's talk about your profile a little bit, Peo. So you're originally from Sweden, and you've worked around the world before Japan. Is that right?
Yes, I've been a journalist. So originally, I was an environmental organization leader, and then I become a traveling journalist. So I've been to many countries, and I saw war. I was in the war area just when the Intifada in Israel and Palestine broke out, for example, in the 1980s. I've seen that and experienced some bad things, and then I saw like environmental problems in different kind of countries. But then I saw the solutions too, just what you mentioned here, and the solutions were there, but people didn't know about them together. So you go to A country and that country has a lot of problems. Then you go to B country, and that country has the solutions to A country's problems, but they don't know about this. So I decided to become an optimistic journalist. So not only writing negative, kind of war titles in the articles, about problems, but also about, like, if you write about the problem, you also write about possible solutions. And that's how I started. So I've been to more than 70 countries now, 70, and seen a lot of things, both environmentally and non-sustainably, war, poverty, but also the optimistic success stories everywhere. And I think we have to lift that forward a lot. And that is what we try to do with One Planet. So One Planet Cafe, the name cafe is not actually a cafe where you drink coffee, but you drink solutions for sustainability.
Wonderful. And also you're quite good at soccer, aren't you?
Not soccer itself, maybe, but yeah.
Lifting or juggling, right? Football juggling.
I broke 3 world records, actually.
That's amazing. Yeah. At 15, 16, and 19, you broke 3 world records for football juggling. Wow. Impressive.
But it gave you some confidence, seeing that together, that things are actually possible to do. And actually then seeing it in the same kind of period, seeing war and experiencing that and seeing how much we destroy this planet, it made me think, like, I have to do something. I cannot only ignore this. So this is my mission, and I've been working on this. Satoko has done this for more than 20 years, me too, professionally for 20 years, but including the environmental organization and environmental organizations that I have been participating in, it's more than 30 years now. So, yeah.
Wonderful.
I think you cannot really go on for 30 years just seeing negative things. You have to see the positives.
You would burn out, right? If you only look at negative things or completely give up. So I'm glad you didn't give up.
Yeah, we've seen people burn out during the way a lot. So that is, sustainability is a very abstract thing. We who work with this daily can kind of imagine it. We can see it in the future. We can kind of feel it, but it's not really achievable in a short term, which makes people getting frustrated easily and start to symbolically scream. So that is something you have to have a healthy relation to, I think.
Yeah. Well, you talk about very practical solutions. So on your website, you have a sustainability in reality section. So when you consult with companies or governments or people, how do you talk about sustainability and reality? Could you introduce that to us?
Yeah. So first of all, we start with explaining about the ecosystem. So this can be a very good, very strong tool to make the action happen. So, and this is not like someone is talking about it, but scientifically it's proved, and we are seeing, that the ecosystem is working around us.
Mm.
So it's very important to understand the basic first of all, and after that we develop, on that. And about talking about the issues about in the society and also economy and what kind of relationship between those. So, and after that we are showing, we are not going into the details too much, but we are showing some very symbolic examples. Especially from Sweden, because from Sweden you can see a lot of good examples in not only in big companies like Volvo, IKEA, H&M, but also they have a lot of very interesting startups, and which are making very very good progress for sustainability, and at the same time they are making very good business. So then people get confidence, because usually the sustainability is more like some bubble, so it's very difficult to grab. But if you understand that basic, and also on those basic things, the business are making good progress, then people get very encouraged. Mm-hmm. So we are showing those examples as a kickstart.
So it's based on the nature's ecocycle, what Satoko was mentioning here, the basics. So there's a saying that I like very much, like sustainability is not a matter of opinion, it's a scientific fact, and there are special rules based on the ecocycle. So once you know those, you get a compass in your hand, and whatever you do, if you go in and buy a t-shirt in a shop, you want to buy this cool t-shirt in the shop, or you want to start a company, or you want to work with the government, this works as a compass, those rules, and you won't get lost. I can take an example. For example, the two basic rules is don't take more from nature than you give back. And the other one is, while you do that, don't take from below ground, switch or shift to above ground resources. So once you go, for example, to Sweden, and you get on a bus that runs on banana peels and coffee waste, right? Because we have a lot of those buses, and you get the basics. Okay, banana peels, do we take more from nature than we give back? And is it above ground or below ground? Is it made from oil or from above? It's from above ground, yeah. And we don't take more than we give back because it's a waste product, so we can use that again. Then you get it, right? And you can run a bus on bananas. It's amazing. And you get a CO2, carbon dioxide neutral transport. It's so simple once you know the rules. Yeah.
That's amazing. So that's your hope and sustainability. It's like hand in hand with practical examples. Don't give up. Let's look for small solutions. That kind of tactic. Is that right?
Small solutions, but you have to know the bigger picture. You have to know the big goals, like in the Sustainable Development Goals, the global goals now that we have to reach by 2030. You have to know those goals. Then you can do the small things.
Yeah.
Because you know where you're going. It's called backcasting. You imagine the future. Now we work on the small things, everything from reducing PET bottles, maybe choosing organic T-shirts. And you do that for a reason, to reach those goals. But if you don't know the goals, you can easily get lost. It's like going and buy, you want to make, we often make this example, like if we, together with our friends, are going to make a strawberry cake, right? And one of our friends go out and buy the ingredients. So she or he goes to the supermarket and buys bacon and cheese. It doesn't matter how much strawberry cake you want to do, the ingredients are wrong. The recipe was wrong. I mean, it's still food. You can make a pizza or maybe okonomiyaki like in Hiroshima, but you did wrong from the beginning. So it doesn't matter how much passion you have to make that strawberry cake if you don't know the recipe from the beginning. But once you know the recipe, then, for example, your strawberry cake, our strawberry cake, American strawberry cake or Japanese strawberry cake, are all strawberry cakes, but they all taste different because we can add that character to it, and that's the fun part. So once you know the rules and the goals, then you can do whatever you want. It's so fun.
That's a really good way to explain it. I love that. So usually before coronavirus, you were doing lectures. You do a lot of stuff online. I've seen you have some shows on NHK. You do shows with Cow Company, the soap company, doing videos and explanations. A lot of great work in Japanese. Before Corona, it looks like you were also doing study tours. Is that right?
Yes, and we are doing study tours to Sweden and also Zambia. And unfortunately, this situation, we all stop, those study tours. But the study tour is one of the most, what you call the growing business for us. And many people and many companies and many the CEOs from small and middle-sized companies get very interested in seeing those sustainability in reality, in their world. So and once you see the society is working very well and people looks very happy and very cheerful, then you have no doubt about sustainability and the importance of sustainability. So the study tour, those experience is very powerful for them to continue their work for sustainability.
Yeah, we talk often about this, like people think it's impossible to do. For example, it's possible to build a city that runs on green energy, renewable energy, like solar and bio, wind power and so on. But they think it's impossible. Maybe for 10 or 15 years they've been going around thinking, it's impossible. But once you land in a city that is actually run 100% on renewable energy, all of a sudden, in one moment, within 1 second, all this impossible will be possible. So that is a powerful thing, we think, and it's fun for us too, because we learn a lot of things every time we go with our clients to Sweden and Zambia. And once you see an elephant in front of you, or you run this banana peel bus, like Back to the Future, it's like, you change.
That's wonderful. I felt that too. Even last year I went to California, I went to San Francisco. I visited Recology Recycling Center, and they're doing 80% recycling diversion from landfill, and also Kamikatsu in Tokushima, in Shikoku Island in Japan. And so that's such a high level compared to what is our usual recycling levels, like 30%, 20%, most cities around Japan, around the world. Yeah. And when I came back from those places, I remember telling people about it. And they're like, oh, God, it sounds awful. You have to separate into 45 categories, but me seeing it myself and seeing it's possible, of course, is very inspiring and makes you feel like, no, I can do it. Of course I can do it, So I agree 100%. Taking people
You
to
have to,
see it.
you have to make it comfortable, you have to make it as comfortable as just throwing it away. That is the key. So once you make it, very comfortable to do those 45 categories, or like in Sweden, we do more than 100 categories, then it's possible, it changed everything.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Let's talk about one of your big, exciting projects you've done. Let's talk about banana paper. Can you walk us through it?
Thank you. So banana paper is we are using the banana fibers taking from out from banana stems. So you know banana tree, like big leaves and so on.
3 meters to 5 meters tall.
Yeah. So do you know how many times you can cultivate or what you call harvest their fruits? That bunch of bananas.
I imagine a lot. I grew up in Hawaii, so we do have banana trees. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know.
And how many banana cluster? You call it clusters, or how
Bunches?
many bunches in one tree or one stem?
I don't know. I just on my last trip to Hawaii, I visited an organic farm, and they had a banana tree, and they served banana flour. So it was the first time I was eating banana flour, so I am always thinking about bananas. I love bananas. So how many bunches? Tell us. I don't know.
So just once.
Uh-huh.
And after that, you never get the fruits from that same tree. So we call it a tree, but it's actually the stem
plant,
because it's a plant. Yeah. So after that, you get the new new shoot, or what you call it?
Like bamboo shoot, you have banana shoots coming up.
Yeah. So people cut it because they want to give the nutrition to the new one. So and after that, they just throw it away or burn it because it attracts snakes or scorpions and so on. So. And we found and we heard that we can make a beautiful banana paper out of those banana fibers. So and then we visited the Zambia in 2006, and it was just a vacation, and we just enjoy the wildlife and the wild animals and so on. But at the same time, we visited the small villages around that area, and we saw the reality of extreme poverty, and because of those poverty, people go out for illegal poaching, or the illegal cutting trees and so on.
To sell it in the village for firewood, because there's no really electricity, or very few places have electricity, so they can cook or something. So they use, wood for cooking. So that's one part why they go out and cut the trees for their own cooking, or for selling it to get some cash. Yeah.
Yeah. So and after that, we are very shocked because we have been talking about the environment and the poverty and so on in our lectures and workshop,
and participated in international United Nations meetings where they talk about this very beautifully, right? About reducing poverty, reducing the loss of endangered species, etc.
So, but we thought if we cannot find a good solution for these people in a small village, then what we are talking about is a little bit, out of reality. So we decided to start some project, and we actually started a very small project related to education at the beginning, but it didn't make the real employment
or impact, yeah.
Impact too, either. So we decided to make some project that create job for local people.
Because what we understood too is like the environmental problems with deforestation or poaching of elephants and lions, these kind of illegal things. And if you poach, an animal in this area, you go to prison for many, many years. So we understood that the reason to that is poverty, right? And non-education, because they cannot afford education, etc. And the reason to poverty is because of environmental problems. So everything was connected.
Yeah. So and we are looking for some job idea or business idea to create employment
related to sustainability.
Yeah. So and then one day we decided to start with the banana paper because we found one factory at that time, the washi factory, which is a Japanese traditional paper factory in Fukui, Echizen.
Washi, yes.
Yeah. So and they were ready to support us and collaborate with us. So we decided to start that business.
That's wonderful. So you had I'm showing pictures right now of the local people. Looks like they're drying the paper on a wall or something, and then it looks like banana leaf is hanging on a line as well.
Right?
Yeah, banana ferns or something. Yeah.
Banana fibers, yeah.
Tell me about the process a little bit. How do you make banana paper?
Should I do it? Okay. So the thing is that from the start, it's not like an apple tree, right? So there's not a lot of bananas, only once and one bunch. They cut the stems and they throw it away. They don't use it. Those stems, if you have ever touched, next time you go to a banana field, touch and press the stem. It's quite soft, actually. There's a lot of water inside. So once you squeeze that water out, you get very nice fibers. And those fibers are the basic ingredients for a good paper. So we buy those stems, the waste from the farmers. We only make deals with organic banana farmers. If they use chemicals, they're out. We have a fair trade policy. So that stems they can now sell to us. So they can sell their bananas and they can sell their waste. So they sometimes, depending on the period of the year, they can have a double salary. It's fantastic in one way. So we bring those stems to our green factory that we built using, renewable energy, eco-cycled materials, local materials, etc., licensed materials, and we employ women and men from extreme poverty area to squeeze that water out of the stems. And once you squeeze it out, you get those fibers that you saw hanging on the line. That's the fibers that we sun dry below the sun. And those fibers are then mixed with, for example, recycled paper or eco-labeled paper. We are very, very, very strict on not using virgin pulp, which means the pulp that you make from trees that are not managed at all. They have no eco-label. So then we mix that together with these fibers, and we get a very high quality product. And our biggest client now in the world is Lush. You know Lush?
Of course, yeah.
So
I saw your video, which is made by Image Mill, because Richard Grian is also been in this series talking about his work.
Okay.
So we already introduced the banana paper, but I didn't know that you had made it. Now we can connect with you. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Now it's in at least 14 countries on the planet. Lush has it everywhere from New Zealand to Canada, to Europe, to And we, of course, in Zambia, we are using it as well. So we're using it for more than 100 different products. And in Lush, they're using it for 3 different products, which is those packages, the gift wrapping. So it's sustainable, non-plastic wraps, and it's organic. They are also using our pens. Some of them are using our banana paper pens, and also some business cards.
And I also saw you have banana paper hangers.
Yeah, true. That is the newest one, yes, that we have developed with one of our partners. We started a consortium because, as you know, we are not paper experts. We are sustainability experts. And we were looking around like, why is it that a lot of eco papers, or fair trade papers haven't succeeded to spread in the world, or why don't we see it more? And one of the reasons we found out is that we, people like us, environmental, experts, are doing it themselves, without involving the experts. So we started to involve the experts in the field, which is the printing and paper companies. And we now have a consortium with 23 members, with printing firms and paper companies all over Japan, from Kyushu in south to Hokkaido in north. And they are making the products out of this. So we have developed hangers, paper hangers, so you can be plastic free, because plastic takes at least 20 million years to create from oil, but banana paper takes 1 year. So the closer the cycle, or the shorter the cycle, like 1 year or 2 years, like banana paper, the closer to sustainability you come. And this is one basic rule of these basic ingredients I told about in the beginning.
Yeah, wonderful. Plus the end process, if it ends up in the water system, it biodegrades, whereas plastic takes 400 years. I do monthly cleanups at rivers and beaches, so we often find plastic packaging, and it seems like something so easy to use and throw away, but when it ends up in the water, it becomes centuries and centuries problem, right, for future generations. Molly has a comment here. She says, is it in the U.S.? Is the banana paper at Lush available in the U.S.?
We are looking. We're asking Lush in U.S. now, and we are asking. We always do a survey, right? If they just arrived there yet. So we're still waiting for their reply there yet. Yes, but going to Lush and ask them about if they use banana paper. It would be nice. And there's a great article that Lush wrote about the entire process. So we can link to that later.
Yeah, wonderful. And whenever I talk to businesses, I always use Lush as an example of how Japanese businesses can take back Japanese culture of fudoshiki, because Lush is also doing the wrap system, the fudoshiki system. And Japanese businesses should all be doing fudoshiki instead of plastic bags or even paper bags, right? It's a nice added value. I see. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. But at the same time, the reason it doesn't spread is because very few companies have made it modern. So mixing the tradition with the modern usage and modern fashion, we see as a very, very important or crucial key to do this. And Lush has succeeded to do that by doing it fashionable to use fudoshiki. Yeah,
that's so true. I see also you have the iPhone stand.
Yeah, the iPhone stand. Yes,
and then
that is actually coming from when we cut out. When the hanger, when you make the hanger, is a very strange shape in one way. If you think about it, the shape of a hanger, cloth hanger, is very strange. So you cannot really cut a lot of it and avoid leftover pieces of paper. And instead of throwing that pieces of paper away, the leftovers, our partner is making this iPhone stand as well. So it might be the first, I don't know, we haven't looked that up, but it might be one of the world's first fair trade iPhone stands. Yeah, because we are fair trade certified, fair trade verified, and that is a very important point here too. Like, there's a lot of people, a lot of organizations talking about sustainability, but it's very important to recognize the license. I mean, if you go to a doctor, you don't go to a doctor without a license, or you don't ride a taxi without with a taxi driver who hasn't got any driver's license. So we should do the same for products and services. And the driver's license for sustainability is called eco-labeled or environmental label or fair trade label. And we are fair trade labeled.
That's
so
good.
we've gone through a long process of auditing, both in Zambia and in Tokyo.
I had a conversation with an organic farm the other day, and they said they researched getting the organic certification, but in Japan, organic is actually using pesticides they would never use. So they said sometimes there is problems with the certification system in certain countries. So, and I've heard this about fair trade too, that a lot of people see it as a big hurdle, that they're doing fair trade, but to get certification is a big hurdle. But I'm really glad that you guys have managed it.
It's a very important point, because it's the same with driver's license, isn't it? It's a big hurdle to get it. Only because you have a driver's license doesn't mean you're a perfect driver all the time. I mean, you have speed too much or something sometimes, or you forgot to put on the seatbelt, But does that mean that we should abolish all the driver's license in the world? Right. I don't think so. And when it comes to organic, I mean, yes, some of the labels, there are 400 labels in the world, which is very, very few compared to how many products there were in the world, because there are millions of products that are not licensed. So if you think about those 400 labels, there are different standards for different labels. And so I understand that point. I get that point. At the same time, only because you get an organic certification doesn't mean you have to start to use pesticides. You can be the leader within a framework that will push the development even further. And that's why those licenses are so important.
Yeah, I agree. We need the third party, an outside, supposed to be independent group to judge and have an international standard. I agree. That's a good way forward.
That's what is happening in the world as well. And the thing is that once you have a fair trade label or you have a fair eco label, you're allowed to contact that organization to complain and say, for example, maybe this should be, much better. And then they take it up on a meeting and they can develop all the time. While if you don't have the label at all, it's very difficult to know where to approach. So we have to start somewhere, and eco labels are fantastic.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. That's such a good argument for going through the process and getting certified. I see also you're doing business cards from the banana paper. Is that right?
Yes. So many companies are using now. Yeah. So and there are many individuals too.
That's wonderful. So if you go to like a Meishi office, can you order with banana paper? Is it available anywhere?
You can ask, and then those printing companies ask for it to one of our partner companies.
Wonderful. Recently, let's talk about Target Finder. That's a recent new product that you have on your website. Can you tell us how is it used? How do you guys use it?
So first of all, we have global goals, right? Like this one. So from 1 to 17, we have the goals, and each goals we have the targets, and which is 169 targets.
How to reach the goals, right?
So, but since it's sorry to say, but it's United Nations official text is sometimes very difficult to read or to understand. So the designer of this global goals logo, Jakob Trollbeck, he is from Sweden. He and his company decided to make each icons like this, right, for each target, so that people can understand easily, to see what kind of target it is and so on. And also they put the slogan, so that in very simple word. So so this is the tool called Target Finder. So it has 169 targets with the icon and the slogans. And it's originally in English. And this tool is sold in UN shop and so on online too. And once we saw this tool, we decided to make this in English. In Japanese. So we asked Jakob to do that, to allow us to do that. So and we have been working on it from this beginning of this year, and then we completed and started selling in August last month.
For example, number 14. Do you know the goal number 14?
You're testing me?
I give you a tip.
Okay, life below water. Oh, yes, of course.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And there's several targets how to reach that, to protect the life underwater. And target 14.1, this is the English version, right? So 14.1 is what you feel very much about. Can you read it?
Reduce marine pollution.
Yes.
Yes.
It's easy to understand, right? But when you get it in, as Satoko says, like in 10 pages, the normal kind of UN text that comes out from international summits, and I've been participating in some of those summits before. I mean, they will only reach people who are really, really, into this.
Yeah.
And not to the public. And the goal of the global goals, the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, to reach them by 2030, we need to make it popular. That was the goal of the designer. And to do that, he thought about these very colorful 17 goals, and just one sentence, life below water, something that makes you think and feel excited about things.
Yeah.
And how to reach those targets. And so this tool is very unique, because if you allow me to take this one, if I hold it in my hand here, I have all the goals and all the 169 targets in my hand, which means almost all the major problems we the humans are facing now on the planet, and the solutions are in my hand. This is probably the first time it's possible to make it this small.
Which makes it a little bit easier to talk about as educators and as sustainability consultants, right? If you have that kind of tool.
And also for business people too, because from goal 1 to 17, it's very good to have that goal, because it's our vision, it's our common vision in the world. But at the same time, it's quite difficult to see or to find the business opportunity while contributing to reaching this goal. So, but if you look at in details to the targets, then you see a lot of opportunities and ideas and insights towards those new solutions, which leads to new business opportunities. So, and also you know how those global goals link to your daily life too. So, for example, goal 17 is for peace, and when we talk about peace,
16.
Sorry, 16. Yeah, 16 is about peace. Yeah. So, and it says peace, justice, and strong institutions. And when we talk about peace, many people think about the peace in big picture, like between now maybe the China and the USA, and or maybe there's some Middle East countries. But not only that, but peace links to our daily life too. And if you look at the 16 target, like this one, it says reduce violence everywhere. So not only between countries, but at home,
Domestic violence.
at the schools or at the office. So it's very linked to yourself or your daily life. So it's very important and very fun to learn about those targets, so that you can get the big picture, but in the small details.
I think having practical ways to accomplish SDGs and practical ideas and innovation examples is so important. Definitely. I often meet people who have the SDGs on their shirt, or the pin.
Do you know the symbol of this?
Yeah, of course. And
where it come from?
Oh no, where does it come from? Sweden.
It's based on the design of the sun. The symbol it's symbolizing the sun. Yeah.
Yeah. So often I see it in Japan, right? Business people with it on their shirt or something. And I say, oh, that's wonderful. Is your business doing SDG? You guys have targets? And they're like, yeah. I don't really know,
But I think that is an opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for us to, for the first time, go forward, go up to that person, go up to that businessman or businesswoman and say, what are you doing for the sustainability goals? And you open a window for them, right? Yeah. We didn't really have that possibility before, because especially as a foreigner in Japan, for example, if I walk up to someone in the street randomly and tell them, what are you doing for environment? They might, take a step back and think, well, who are you? But now we have
there's a seed.
It's a bottom for conversations. You
have
the right to ask them.
There's a little seed in there now, right? Yeah.
I went to sushi shop. We went to sushi shop once, and the chef, the sushi chef, had this badge on it, the SDG badge. And so I asked him, okay, so do you have any sustainable fish here? Sustainable, because maguro, for example, the tuna is especially the bluefin tuna is an endangered species. You shouldn't serve that. Or, for example, if you have unagi, which is eel, that's another endangered species. You shouldn't serve that if it's not eco-labeled, which is MSC or something at least. So I asked that, so he was confused, but then we start to ask, and he said, oh, I will look it up and so on, so you cause an interest.
Nice.
And I think a lot of people are complaining about these badges, but I think it's a bottom for us to push.
Yeah. Soft pressure. Yeah. Ask nicely, right? Like that's something that comes up in the series a lot, is just ask. Is it possible to use my own container? Is it possible to ask you about how you're doing sustainability, right? Just be positive, be nice, be friendly. Don't be like, you should do, or, but just try to soft pressure. Yeah. I think in Japan it has a lot of power, right? Soft pressure. Let's talk about some of your other projects. On your website, you talk a little bit about house reform as well. You have a picture. Can you introduce that a little bit?
Should I do it? Okay. So, for example, here where we are now, we totally reformed. Do you say reformed or renovated in English?
In English, renovated, yeah.
Renovated. So we totally renovated it completely 10 years ago. It was a quite old apartment or flat, and the previous person who lived here very cleanly and beautifully, but it was an old-fashioned apartment. So from the Showa period in Japan. But we totally reformed it, renovated it. Introduced around 100 different actions for sustainability, and we had those goals and also target to reach those goals. And we afterwards we measured. We did everything from floors to walls to energy. I mean, this session now with us is actually brought to you by solar and wind power, because we have solar and wind power here 100%. And so we measured afterwards how much are we actually, do you know the ecological footprint? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the ecological footprint, how much, bad stuff you're doing, how much you can reduce the bad environmental impact. We measured that after a while and compared to an average Japanese household, and this is based on official data like environmental ministry's data, etc. Compared to an average Japanese household, we reduced the overall ecological footprint by more than 75%. We reduced garbage waste here by nearly 90%, CO2 by nearly 90%, water usage by 60 to 70%, etc. So it's possible to do that while it became more comfortable, and while at the same time the price of this renovation, we asked a renovating company to do this for us, was cheaper than a conventional renovation. So in many ways it saved you money, it saved you a planet.
Mm-hmm, for
so it's
sure.
within one planet, yes.
And it all starts with asking and finding finding builders who are willing to work with you and find, like you have FSC certified materials, right? Forest safe certified.
Yeah, flooring.
Another person in the series, he did a rebuild of his house next to Lake Biwa in Shiga.
Wonderful.
And he was looking for FSC certified wood. He also reused some of the old wood from the building that was knocked down before for firewood.
Exactly.
Right? So it's just thinking about it, looking for, you have to do research. It takes time. But it's an investment in reducing your footprint, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have something else. I don't know if you have ever heard of this. Not many people have, but you have the ecological footprint, right? But then also you have something called the ecological handprint. And that belongs to this eco-cycle that we said and the basic rules for sustainability. So ecological footprint is like reducing the bad stuff like fossil fuel or plastic, etc. But ecological handprint is to increase the good stuff, like eco-cycle adjusted natural materials. For example, bamboo, we're using bamboo here.
Wonderful.
Or introducing renewable energy, for example. So you help the nature, not only reduce the impact, and you learn from nature from that one. And once you know those simple basic rules, you're not lost anymore. You know where to look for.
Yeah, that's a new trend in sustainable tourism, is regenerative tourism. Yeah. When you visit somewhere and you're actually improving the forest system, or your part of your money is going to building renewable energy, or you're doing something to actually make it better, the areas you've. I hope that is the future of tourism, because we need to move beyond just doing little damage, less damage. We need to move beyond that to doing no damage and actually improving what damage we did before, right? Yeah. It's so vital.
Yeah, and there is a solution already on the planet. You know, there is a place on this planet where this has been realized already, and that is nature. You know, there's no waste in nature, if you have thought about it. There's no waste in nature. There's no extra CO2 in nature. Everyone in the nature, all these millions of species are using 100% renewable energy. I mean, the birds are flying around, moving around using wind power. And the flowers are growing thanks to solar power. Or the elephant is moving tens of kilometers every day using biomass, you know, eating grass. So they have the solution already, and the unemployment rate, according to the latest statistic, the unemployment rate in nature is 0%. No one is unemployed in nature. So you have the solutions there, and once you start to adjust to that, you get the results in real life as well, and you get sustainability in reality.
That's so important, and so, yeah, so true. And we just need to put soft positive pressure on the businesses and government, and make good choices as consumers to try to change the market and to make more sustainable products more available, because we want them. We are demanding them, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have about 5 more minutes. Can you do you want to talk about anything else that you guys are doing? You guys are doing so much good stuff.
When it comes to the ecotourism, we've done this for 20 years. Of course, we're flying. unfortunately, but we are flying to Sweden with 10 participants, and immediately that's 20 tons of CO2. But during the week in Sweden, for example, each person learned how to reduce 6 tons by CO2, and we have followed up on that, and a lot of them are actually acting on that when they come back. So we are reducing more CO2 than we're actually giving out, and that is also called return on carbon. Instead of return of investment, you have a return on carbon. But on the spot in Sweden, we use only sustainably labeled eco hotels. We move around with banana peel and coffee waste buses and taxis, biofuel airplanes even. We eat at vegetarian shops, etc. So you can feel this sustainability in reality, and sustainable tourism is so important. And actually in Target Finder, I think it's number 8 something, in number 8, there is about sustainable tourism, actually is included in those targets as well.
Yeah.
And we have a Target Finder community in Facebook group, and it's only for Japanese people right now. But we are hoping to have guests from overseas too, and talking about the targets and also the how they implement those targets or the SDGs goals, global goals, into their business or in lifestyle. So we want to connect the people in that platform.
That's wonderful. So that's on Facebook. People
yes.
can find, what's the name of the page?
Target Finder community.
Okay.
Finder community.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll put the link below. Also, people can find your beautiful pictures of your work and products on Instagram, as well as on your website, right?
And Facebook, yes.
And
Facebook. OnePlanetCafe, look it up, and you can follow us there. And of course, also private Facebooks where we talk a lot of things, what is happening to us in both here and in Zambia and Sweden and India when we go there, sustainably wise, daily things that we are facing.
During coronavirus, have you been able to continue the banana paper production, or?
Yeah, fortunately, we are continuing. We closed for 1 month because the government recommended to stop those factory operation. But now they are working, and actually we increased some the employment, and then making some extra job in that area. So we are very happy about it, and we appreciate our clients and the partners.
It's a beautiful area. It's called South Luangwa, and it's depending on tourism a lot. And the tourism now is almost completely closed, unfortunately. So and this South Luangwa National Park is the world's first sustainable national park. So we really recommend you to, if you want to go for safaris, ethical safaris, there's even ethical safaris there, ethical guides, and want to experience real Africa, please visit and support this fantastic national park in the future. And you can visit us too at our green factory, making some banana papers.
Wow, that sounds exciting. I'd love to do that. So just for the last few minutes, I'd love to have your vision. What does Japan need to do right now to really help move things forward? What can normal people do in their lives in Japan? What's your advice? Any final words?
So first of all, we see the sustainability as a big opportunity. So not like to limit your lifestyle or your business, but a great opportunity. So we have to change our mindset, because when we were talking about eco, then it's like we have to reduce this one and we stop using this one and so on. But when we look at and talk about sustainability, there are so many things to do, not to do. So we have to change the mind, and we believe that learning the targets from global goals helps a lot. So we recommend and we support people. We want to support people to understand those targets.
And for the short term, and what you can do privately and soon is like look around you and see what you can do, whatever you can do. That is a quite old thinking. What we say is look around you and see what you cannot do, then do that.
What do you mean? That you haven't done yet? That you haven't yet done? Look for an opportunity to improve, you mean? Is that right?
We mean that we have to find that we cannot stop using, for example.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then it's very important part in your life or in your lifestyle or in your business. Then there are a lot of things to do, and there are a lot of opportunities to make the new service or new products for sustainability.
Yeah. And I think what you guys are doing also on TV with NHK or different collaborations like with COW, you are also helping to change the perception of sustainability to something possible and something cool, which is so important, because I think until now in Japan, quite often you talk about sustainability and people say, "Mendokusai," I don't want to change, it's too hard, it's too difficult. But when we change the perception from media that this is something that helps all of us, and it's cool, and it's fashionable, and it's fun, that is the target for now, I think. Especially now people are at home, they have more time to think about it.
Yeah, that was an excellent expression. Wonderful.
So thank you so much for all of the great work you're doing, and please keep it up. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Let's do it together.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Let's do it together. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
And thank you everybody for joining. We had some nice comments. Toji says, and congratulations to both of you doing it more than 20 years. It's not easy, I think. We'll be looking for the Facebook page. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Toji also says, inspiring. Thank you.
Wonderful.
And Molly was talking about her area in America, separating into 4 categories. But unfortunately, not everyone's doing recycling. So now people are being fined. So some kind of negative consequence. Thank you so much for joining, Molly. And she says, thank you. And we also had a comment from Bifudishi Bold. She says, interesting. And she's interested in learning more about organic t-shirts or
like this one.
Yeah. And Allison says is very reassuring. Thank you, Allison. Esteban says hi from Mexico. Thank you all so much for your comments. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear the comments too. Wonderful.
Yeah. And please write your comments. If you didn't catch us live, you can write your comments and questions below, and we will try to send links or other information for you. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day. Thank you so much, Satoko and Peo.
Thank you so much.